Well, people, how you guys doing? This is the T-Bass and Shamar show. I'm Shamar.
I'm T-Bass.
And this is my man's over here, Kit Jones.
Hello.
Man, how you guys doing today? This is going to be an epic episode. We are going to talk about manifestation and the different categories of, because there are, like we just said, there are levels to the manifestation talk. So we want people to understand that at the end of the day, all blessings to you. You know, what we do is we do wish the very best for everybody out there, and having conversations like this is something that is absolutely needed within not only our community, just in general within the species. When I say species, I mean all of us. We all need to understand how to manifest the correct and the good things, the good vibrations in life, because we do manifest negative reactions and you manifest positive reactions, and these are the things that we're going to talk about today. So anybody got something to say?
So yeah, man, it sounded good. This is a powerful concept. Manifesting. We all come into this world with it, the ability to bring into our existence what we need.
Right.
I mean, yeah. So that's and I think you can get disconnected from that sometimes. And so even with talk about how do you reconnect, with your ability, your power to bring into your existence what you need.
Okay. Yeah. So let's start with, I guess, establishing like a single point of collectiveness, right? To kind of bring a lot of points of view or angles of viewing the same subject in just like one way. I like to use the term magic, and you tapping into your magic. Not magic with a C, but magic with a K. Magic with a K is the science and the art of causing change to occur in conformity with will. So we're talking about manifesting things. Understand that that's you tapping into your own self. That's you making an identification of, hey, I desire this. I need to go about materializing, right?
Yeah.
So when we tap into that, consider the thing being asked for. We were joking around before the show with the concept of a person desiring $1 million. That may seem beyond for some people, but okay, let's make it simple. A person who desires a new car, right? They have a car and they're in dire need because they have to get to work, right? And they know, I'm dependent on my transportation. I need a new car. There's already an emotional attachment that is a doubt, because initially self-doubt sets in, right? Right. I ain't shit. That's what you say to yourself.
You're coming in distress.
Yeah. Right. But instead, let's focus on the thing that's desired. The new car. Okay, what kind of car do you desire? And being descriptive in a person's imagination, which is the key to unlocking this whole thing, is what can you imagine? What can you conceive, right? And then us attaching an emotion to the thing that we desire. So it's not so much that you need a car, but you should be descriptive about, in your head, what it is that you're looking for.
So be specific.
Be specific, right?
Yeah.
Be specific.
And ask for what you need and what you want. Or no, and look.
I'm not gonna say don't ask, but the operation is not an asking, it's speaking it into existence. Right?
Okay.
It's the same as an affirmation, I am. Right?
Yeah.
If you are the I am, then you're grateful or you're thankful for something as if it has already happened.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm grateful for the new car that I'm about to get.
Yeah.
Right? Speak it as if it already happened. Thank you for giving me these things that I desire, right? But that's the verbiage that goes with it. But again, let's start with the emotion that's attached to the thing that is desired, right?
That's a key.
What kind of fulfillment are you going to get out of this thing that you desire? Focus on that, right? What kind of fulfillment am I going to get, right? Okay. What other emotions come to mind when you're thinking of this thing that you desire?
Right.
And then send those emotions out there, right? Identify with that thing. But once you finish your ritual of meditating on it, you're into altar work, you're praying for it, whatever it is that you desire, once you release that emotion, wait for the synchronicity to happen.
Yeah.
That's all it is to it.
Being patient.
Just be patient.
Be patient.
It's funny because...
But it's the synchronicities again. You gotta wait for the synchronicity. Something is gonna occur in your conscious awareness. Something is gonna occur in your conscious reality that is synchronized with the energy that you put out.
Right. That anatomically speaking, as you do that, so say, because I have a habit of saying, I am joyful, I am happy,
Yes.
I am intelligent.
Yeah.
Right.
Because what you do is you start to assign a vibration that enters into the body, that vibrates throughout the system, and then pierces the heart and the mind. And this is important because what you start to do is you start to activate and start to push through the pituitary gland the proper nutrients and the proper vitamins or the proper hormones, the proper alchemy to cause a particular type of vibration that attracts the things that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So there is an actual science to this. It's not really, just something that just arbitrarily just happens. Just happens. It just just happens. Like no, you do actually have a physical.
It's magic.
Right. Right. There's an actual physical.
Well, it happens.
Happening that's going
Well,
on.
let me say this. So when have you experienced that magic in your life?
Oh man.
Just one time you've experienced.
When haven't I, right? One time, shoot. Okay. When I got into altar work, I desired a certain piece of furniture to be my first altar, right? Like the altar that I want to dress and, set everything up on. And I had a makeshift. I had a temporary. I had something that, would do. It was a piece of furniture that I was using, but there was one that I desired.
I got you.
I already knew, like, I want this one. The baskets go on the bottom or whatever. So I go to the altar. Do my altar work, right? Finish up, leave the house, put the key in the door, step away. I hear a voice. The voice says, keep your eyes open. Okay. Mm-hmm. It was my grandmother, that's who I did the ancestor I spoke to that day. Shout out to Mary Lou, my grandmother. And on my way, I'm driving, right?
Yeah.
Stop at a stop sign, and I hear the same voice say, over here. And I look, and it's a dude throwing furniture out. And I'm like, bust a turn, right? Like, see, I had to listen for the synchronicities.
Yeah.
Right? Things pointed out to me because of thoughts that came into my mind. Nobody else is hearing this shit. Nobody else is even involved in this. It's between me and my conscious reality. Right?
Yeah.
But this started with me being in tune with I'm desiring something and I need to honor an ancestor. Let me light up the altar, talk to my grandmother, thank her for her help with finding the thing that I desire. You know what I'm looking for, right? And we just have a conversation, right?
Yeah.
I put my words out there. I put my energy out there.
Mm-hmm.
I put that frequency out there. And from the beyond, Mary Lou, make it happen for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just listening for something. Nobody else hear this shit. Right? Only me.
Right.
Right? And it starts with unlocking that facet of our imagination that in our minds, right?
Yeah.
That a lot of people deny. They deny that part of themselves to conform with whatever social construct that they've bought into.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever it is you bought into, you know, whatever it is, politics, religion, you know, whatever, right? Sports, whatever things that may separate a person from finding that part of themselves, you know. As always, I put out the love that you find that about yourself, discover yourself, right? But that path isn't always visible.
Right.
It's there. It's there.
Yes.
It's in everything.
Right,
Trust me,
right,
it's in
right,
everything, right?
Absolutely.
Our puny brains are designed to work off of symbols and memes and, you know, bridge forms of communication that are in our conscious awareness, that are in our visible, you know, while we're going throughout the day. People see numbers, you know, all the time, right?
Yeah.
Well, I keep seeing 333. I keep seeing 1111. I keep, you know, then people got into looking up the numbers and, oh, okay, that was a conscious awareness. Now unlock the next level. You know, how about symbols that you see on the room that we're sitting in? Unfortunately, you guys can't see this, but on most bars that are on buildings and stuff, there's scroll work that are African Adinkra signs, right?
Yeah.
And if you are conscious, you could look at that and receive the boost from the energy that you identify with. Oh, I know what that means.
Yeah.
Now I have confirmation of next operation to happen, right? And so we go through this consciously. Some people are aware of symbology, but because of their fear of picking up a book and reading or
that would just be like picking up another language, right? Like in its discovery.
It is. It's another language. It's another angle of perception.
Yeah.
That, you know, for those that know, that are in the know, you know. Right. Those that
and then learning and then
don't see it.
Yeah.
Then they don't get to appreciate things for their esoteric or symbolic reasons, but things are surrounding us all the time that are reminders of, you know, things that if you are in contact with self, you're getting confirmations of things like all day long, like, yep, thank you, right? All day long. It happens all day long, and there's a lot of people who do embrace that. You know, and again, I implore more people to get into that. You know, know what things that you're aware of, what your environment. So just your, you know,
I'm going to
self-environment though, not your, you know, we got. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask I just wanted to interject on the question of, in the modern term, so how do you tap into that? Like, what are things that you can do to help enhance? Well, first of all, I know you have to be on a kind of an inward journey anyway. You have to be seeking that out. You have to be seeking that out, right? But even in that process, how do you strengthen that?
I'll tell you, there's oftentimes people, it's like when you're trying to get something and you get something else, trying to get that.
Right.
And you don't even realize you're getting that something else.
Right.
But in the process of trying to get this, you getting this particular type of energy and don't even really realize it, right?
Yeah.
So I look at that as like when you go to church or when you're in any religion, whether Islam, Buddhism, or whatever, you're attaining a principle. Now, the objective is spirituality. The objective is to understand what is in the awareness or the consciousness or the space that's invisible, that many people call God, people call Yahweh, people call Yahweh, people call all these different names, Allah, all these different names. But the objective is that nature, right? So what we end up doing is we get into something such as, say, religion. And religion is good because it gives what we call principles and discipline. And I think that that's your first steps to attain a spiritual discipline, is discipline.
Yeah.
And I think that oftentimes what we do is we kind of go away from the disciplines, the natural disciplines, the simple disciplines, the disciplines like diet. Like, these are your first steps to understanding and being able to manifest the things in your life more clear, because you're clearing the temple, you're cleaning the temple, diet.
And you're clearing that by doing some fasting.
Fasting.
You know what I mean? Fasting. So how do we enhance? You know, how do we enhance that? By cleansing ourselves. Physical cleansing.
So you gotta know you.
Yeah.
First things first, know yourself. Right? And that's like the oldest adage written in the Valley of Kings, right? Man, know thyself. Like, how well does an individual know themselves? If you know yourself, then you know how to conduct yourself, right?
Yeah.
But it starts with just know you.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people don't know themselves.
Right.
They know the facsimile of what it's like to be sociable, whatever avatar that fits them, but do they know themselves?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I meant by
you.
That's what I mean by you get something that you didn't mean to get. When you discipline yourself into something like a religion, you're trying to. Some people do it socially. I want to get friends.
Right.
Some people do it. I didn't have a father or a mother.
Right.
But really, what you're getting is something more invisible. You're learning how to be disciplined in something, right?
Yeah, because you keep going.
Right.
You participate in the functions of the things that you agree to.
And then every religion most religions are usually founded on some ancient document or some ancient something.
Right.
And those ancient documents are talking about something a bit more spiritual in light. So you end up making contact and talking and experiencing and gaining a language of something that you didn't necessarily try to do, but because it's already laced within there,
so
you're getting the verbiage.
If I can interject real quick. So, I haven't said this in a while. For people who are religious, get into, you owe this to knowing yourself. Get into knowing for yourself the mystical system that lies behind, that is the origin of the religion that you subscribe to.
Righteous. Yes.
Yeah.
Learn the mystical system. That's where you will find the answers to questions that you otherwise would not even think to ask. Right? Because it makes you tap into yourself. You have to know yourself. And then, and by this, I'll just start with the 3 Abrahamic faiths, because those are basically the 3 religions. Most everything else is spirituality. Not the same as religion.
Right.
But with the 3 Abrahamic faiths, if you are into the Old Testament and Judaism, then learn the mystic side of that, which would be Kabbalah. Right? If you're into New Testament, that was written in Greek. That's a Gnostic system. Learn Gnosticism. Be open to that. You owe that to yourself.
Yes.
You don't owe it to anybody but yourself. right? If you're into Islam, the third Abrahamic faith, learn Sufism, or better yet, just get the Circle 7 Quran, because that's straight alchemy. It breaks it all down, right? It shows you these are frequencies, these are algorithms, these are points of alignment that only going through the process of learning it, you will be able to unlock that mystery that lies behind the current renditions and renderings of what it is that you're doing.
And to go back to that, all of that are the beginning stages of getting to where you're able to manifest, where you're where you're consciously able to see what it is that's happening
all the time.
Right.
Like this becomes you become that. And again, you know, I come from a Christian household, right?
Yeah.
Read a lot of New Testament. I know that the Christ of the New Testament told his disciples that greater works will you do, right? When do you become that person that's like, yeah, well, this nigga was, you know, multiplying fish and bread, right? And feeding, you know, hordes of people and shit. You know, what are you doing to replicate?
Right.
That's greater than that, right?
Yeah.
And you can't do that just through meditation. You have to do that through understanding alchemy. And the alchemy is not old school alchemy where you trying to make gold out of lead and rhubarb. You know, no. The alchemy is alchemy itself. It's really just a balancing of left and right hemispheres, right? Or the masculine and feminine principles that make up all Homo sapiens sapiens, right?
Right.
It's balancing that within yourself to ascend to the next level. And that's found in the surface of the three Abrahamic religions. It's found through their symbology, right? Things are there, but do people correlate what these signs and these symbols are showing you, right?
You know what's funny is, even it doesn't really matter which principle you go to outside of those. You can go Taoism, you read the I Ching, you can read all different sorts of African scripts, and they all basically say more or less the same thing, that you have to balance the heart mind, you have to balance the right left hemispheres, you have to balance what is the same as up is the same as down. I'm trying to get it wrong, but
as
above, so beneath, right? And so this has been an ancient principle forever.
Yeah.
It's just what happens is we live in a time now where we just don't think about it. We literally. And it sounds think about it.
Right.
Is
but that's the key.
What we don't do.
That's the key. No, but that's the key right there. But like you said, and that's part of why we're doing this right now is to get that connection. To say, hey,
the thought out
think
there.
about that. Think about
energy out there.
And we all have the ability. We all have the ability. You know what I mean? Like, so don't doubt. I mean, we manifest all throughout our life.
Right.
All throughout
your whole life.
Day, the words that you speak are a manifestation of self.
Right, for sure.
Because honestly, when you look up the dictionary definition of manifestation, is something to the nature of bringing into existence or bringing into something, making something seen that is unseen.
Right.
So what is always unseen is the mind. Because I can't see that you're happy. Like, I can't just sit here and if you're just sitting here straight face, but inside you just won a Super Bowl.
A hot mess.
You just won a Super Bowl.
Whatever. Yeah.
You over here like woo, but you with a poker face, right? So if I'm sitting over here third party, I can't see that you're happy. I don't see your mind.
Sometimes you can see
the only time you see it is when someone manifests it within their action,
right?
Or they make some sort of an expression. However, there is a sense where a person could be doing that and you can sense
Well, you know
their
what?
vibration.
No,
That's
and
a different type of
and
manifestation.
And I know that, and I know that have had that experience in my life. I'm sure we all have had that experience, right? When you pick up on the vocal, I said, yeah, man, picked up on the vibe right there. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Or even if a person is just, so we are vibration.
It's all
It's all frequency, and we shouldn't limit it just to language, right? Because there are people who are deprived of certain senses that most people take for granted.
Yeah.
Right. Some people can't see, but they can tell a vibe.
Yeah.
Right. Or people can't hear, they can't speak. Right. But they still have levels of communication. And again, because we are frequency, we emit frequency. Our emotions, come on, man. Like people that raise dogs, and you know how dogs react to your emotions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You've been around dogs, and you're scared around dogs. People always say, "No, don't run."
Right.
Because they know, hey, but you're emitting a frequency, and that frequency again stems from an emotion.
Right.
It stems from an emotion, right? Oh, I'm terrified of this, and what are you putting out there? I'm scared. I'm vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
And projecting that publicly as well. A person walking down the street thinking I'm gonna be a victim, become the victim, right? Because you draw that towards yourself. You're putting that out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Magnetism.
Mm-hmm.
We are magnets.
And look at the flip side, right? The typical, high school situation. Oh, the jock that always says, "Man, I always get the girl."
Right.
He always gets the girl.
Right.
Because he speaks that into
Right.
And if you've ever, I've had friends that way.
Yeah.
That for whatever reason they have this confidence about it.
Yeah. The swag.
And
We call it swag. We call it swag.
My boy used to kill me with that. I remember, he would go do stuff like we would go to Burger King. And how you doing today? I'm fine. Oh man, that's really nice necklace you have there. Oh, and get to talking. Next thing you know, he said, you know what? I forgot to order these fries I want. You guys got fries in there. You think hook me up? Next thing you know, she coming out with extra fries. And I'm like, how do you do that all the time? And honestly, there's something that I once.
It's called game.
Check this out. I once heard this before, and I tried it out. I tried this out before, and I said, wow, you should try this out.
Yeah.
Someone once said, when you're walking in the street and you see people coming at you, don't match their face. Because oftentimes, if you're walking around with a frown on your face and you look at somebody, you'll see them that they'll be smiling, they'll immediately frown.
Right.
Because they're matching your vibration.
Yeah.
Walk with a high vibration. When you look at people in the face, smile.
Yeah.
And watch them change. They can be walking. And if you're smiling, you say, hey, you don't even have to say anything.
Right.
You could quite literally just smile. And they feel your vibration.
Yeah.
And not that it doesn't happen 100% of the time.
Right.
But
I was going to say sometimes.
It doesn't happen 100% of the time. But I have done this as an experience. And I literally would approach people with the intention of seeing their face. And I would be like, just like something like to acknowledge your presence.
Right.
And a person, if they don't smile, they'll skip to, and they'll try to make some sort of gesture.
Yeah.
And you can see right away that your magnetism affected them in their walk. No, because I guarantee you that as soon as they walk away, they go right back to whatever facial expression or thoughts that they were.
Let me throw this one out there. This has happened to me. I hope it's happened to other people. Maybe one of you have identified with what I'm about to tell you, but I have had people who don't even speak English approach me and ask me for directions. Right? And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I am in a Korean mall, right? I'm right over here on Olympic and Olympic and Western. There's a Korean market.
Okay, gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
And this Korean lady comes to me, an elderly lady, and she starts pointing, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. There's Korean people here. Why are you asking me? Right? Without saying that, but I'm just looking like, all right. And I start pointing, and she was like, and went on about her business, and I insisted that I help her, and they spoke to her, and she was like, no, I want to talk to him.
Right, she's like, I deal with you.
Okay, right. But it's those little things that happen, those little, spur of the moment because of the frequency, right? Like there's a comfortableness with you
Right.
that this person had.
Right.
Stop, and that's your opportunity to do something great for somebody else. That improves your chances of the things that you're trying to manifest happening.
Yeah.
You know, we've heard carpe diem, you know, seize the moment, right?
Right.
But what are you doing when the moment arises? Are you
Right.
using that as an opportunity to
Right.
do good? Are you
Yes.
using that as an opportunity to promote positivity,
Right.
Because I'm gonna let everybody in on a little secret. The most powerful weapon in the universe is love.
Right.
I was going to get it out.
Yeah. Love. Yeah.
Is love.
For real.
Love.
Yeah.
Love. Like
For real.
Yeah.
the most powerful weapon in the universe is love, right? And like Blastmaster KRS once said, love's gonna get you.
Yeah.
Love's gonna get you.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Love's gonna get you. You gotta, you know, be aware of what you put your loves on, you know. But
Yeah.
you know, love is the most powerful force in the universe. you
Yeah.
know? And I, if you ain't got no love, you know, find you some love. You know?
Right.
You gotta get you some love.
But that's why those affirmations help.
Yes.
Every day, like
Yes.
seriously, every day I've been
Yeah.
for the last 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. I said to myself, I'm gonna actually put this because we've been talking about manifestation. You said we're gonna do a episode on manifestation. I said, you know what? Let me get back to these affirmations.
Right.
But let me actually really apply it, not talk about it. Like that was
Right.
our motto: don't talk about it, be
Yeah,
about it.
right.
So
Yeah,
so
right.
every day I've been saying, I am light, I am love, I am enjoyable, I am joy, I am understanding. I go almost the same ones. I come up with a few different ones.
Yeah.
It also helps your vocabulary to figure out different affirmations to say that are positive.
Yeah.
But what I have found is that doing that, I find myself in positions where when it's a stressful situation, I'm not reacting to that stressful situation in the same vibration that I did when at a lower vibration.
Right.
And when I do that, I immediately say to myself, "Oh, hold up, wait.
You check
I'm
yourself.
peaceful.
Right.
I'm joy. So is this peaceful? This ain't
Correct,
peaceful.
guys.
This ain't peaceful. So obviously, I need to change the way that either I'm approaching this,
Right.
and or leave the situation and allow the situation to harmonize. But either way,
Right.
I'm not going to allow myself to go off kilter because of the outside source.
And that's a deep thing you just said though, because you're talking about your self-reflection, right? And you're emitting that. Now you're also becoming more receptive at the same time.
Right.
And that's love.
Right.
So
That's a form of love.
So that's what I got out of what you just said. I was like, wow, that's really deep.
It's working.
Yeah.
It's working. Like even and please don't take it personal, but anybody with a relationship, if my wife says something that gets me emotional,
Right.
I immediately go to, I am peaceful, I am loved, and then so I immediately after doing that I kind of calm down, go to the breath, breathe. That's what psychologists tell you, or a lot of people tell you. You'll hear count to 10.
Yeah.
Right.
You know how you're counting to 10 because you can't count to 10 without breathing.
Right.
You must, and if you have to go a little further, they'll say, "Oh, if 10 don't work, go to 50."
Right.
Because you have to breathe, counting to 50. You have to.
Right.
And breathing, people.
Here's a stupid human trick, right? Not meaning stupid. Get a breathing app, right? And practice breathing apps. You know, there are breathing apps for meditation. There's breathing apps for health. There's breathing apps to improve longevity. You know, to help you breathe better, right?
Right.
But get into breathing apps, right? Because while you're breathing, and it's I don't want to scare anybody, but it's low level, I guess you would say like prana or yoga work, right?
Yeah.
When you get into like breathing, but learn how to breathe.
Yeah.
And
Go learn how to
it's
breathe.
key.
You gotta
No,
learn
it's
how to
real.
breathe. You
Because-
gotta learn how to breathe because there's number breathing, right? Like there's breathing there's 6-3-6 breathing, right? So it would be you inhale for 6 seconds, right? You hold it for 3 seconds. You exhale for 3 seconds. 6 seconds, right? Then you hold it for 3 seconds, and you repeat that.
Mm-hmm.
Inhale for 6 seconds, hold it for 3 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Hold it for 3 seconds,
Yeah.
and repeat that. If you could do that 9 times, right, you're growing like your aura, your whole energy field is expanding.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And it helps you in those situations when you otherwise are gonna feel stressed, right?
Yeah.
So when you kind of know, oh shit, I didn't make that deadline. Okay, let me recenter. You know, go through some breathing exercises.
Yeah.
It'll help boost your aura. It's gonna help expand your energy to be able to make the shift from what you thought I'm gonna get to go home early today to I'm gonna have to put this overtime or whatever.
Right,
You know, but it's
right.
gonna help your situation.
Right.
Because it helps, release this, shot of adrenaline. Your endorphins are shooting off. Your body is starting to react, and stress is starting to set in. You're all grumpy, and and realize that life is filled with monkey wrenches and forks in the road, and energies that are designed to help you on your path. Everything should be a lesson.
Yeah. And sometimes we used to have them old sayings that kind of taught you that.
Yeah.
Like don't sweat the small stuff. All that stuff is relevant, man. It's all teaching you for those moments, like you said, and we are going to have them. But the breath conversation is very deep because in stressful situations and just in general. And then like you said, expanding your aura.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't believe in an energy field. A lot of people say that's pish posh or whatever, but scientific, they actually got machines that read your field.
You don't believe in the energy field, but
you believe in God.
So you ain't never been shocked when you walk across the carpet with your socks on,
Right.
touch the doorknob.
Right.
Oh, that was static. Static what?
Right.
Static what? It was energy, right? It was the transference of the ions built up around you, and the discharge of those ions made an electrical spark, right?
Yeah.
There's energy around you. You are energy, right? Like, your breath is hot, right? From your solar, your inner sun, your solar plexus, right? This is your inner sun, right? And breathe on the back of your hand, you're gonna feel this hot. And it might be because your breath stank, but your breath is hot, right? So
and you have to imagine
energy,
that
you are energy. I mean, these are flesh suits when it all boils down to it, But in respect of the flesh suit, this avatar body that we're in on this 3-dimensional horizontal plane that we call Earth, right? That's the stage 1. This is square one. But did you know that above this exists, this is just a duplicate of the duplicate. This one is upside down, but this was the bottom of a whole hierarchy of existence, because we mentioned it before, as above, so below.
Right.
That exists within your inner structure, like your body, your physical construct is made up of everything that is.
Man.
And so it's more encompassing, and there's things that historically a lot of people are aware of, I got melanin to protect me from the sun, but it's so much more to, understanding how that enables you.
Yeah.
It enables you to tap into your imagination, to tap into that self-boosting energy.
Yes.
It's got to start with you flipping the switch in your mind. All things are like that.
Right.
All things are like it's how your angle of perception, right?
Yeah.
And so with that, I implore people, first, this is a real simple one. What does your name mean?
Man.
What does your name mean? Just the name you were given, and a lot of people, my name is this, but I don't really mean that. Okay, but who named you?
Right.
Oh, well, I was named after my aunt.
So
now it gives a story And then there's an understanding of, okay, well, see, you were given your name usually
for a
with
reason,
purpose.
right? Absolutely.
And that's another thing we've gotten away from.
Right.
And this is another reason why people end up having anxiety problems and stress problems from the very beginning. Just the titling of you is not even. We used to title our children after a purpose. It was a name that had purpose. It had meaning.
And what, let me say this. I'm gonna interject right here. Even if you didn't know that it had meaning, it had meaning.
Yes.
So I'm saying, why am I saying that? I'm saying that because, so I already knew that my father named me after my uncle Tony.
Right.
So he was like, I named you after my big brother, but I wasn't gonna call you Tony, so I named you Terry.
Gotcha.
That's why you're Terry.
Gotcha.
And so then, you know, and I didn't even, yeah, man, no, but check it. But so then it's like,
Does Terry mean something?
yes, it does.
What does it mean?
So I did the research on the name,
There we go.
and the name means power of the tribe.
See, that's what
Power
I'm
of the
saying.
tribe. And I was like, and so this whole time I'm questioning you know, my name, because I asked my mom when I was a kid. I asked her, I says, "Why'd you name me Terrence?"
Right.
I was like, "Why was it Terry?" And then because in my mind, I liked my father's name, which was William, and so I wanted to be named after him.
Yeah,
and I was like, "But you named me." I was like, but then I understood why my father didn't name me after himself, because he wanted me to have my own path. So I understood all of that stuff, right? And I was like, but William, that's kind of a cold name, though. I couldn't work with that. But
I was gonna be really deep, man.
well, you know what? Or Terrence, and I was like, but then some of that was who I was too, right? Because I was like, Terrence, but what is it? I mean, so then I did the research on the name, and I was like, okay, so let me humble myself.
How do you identify with Terry?
Different.
Oh, yeah.
No,
It's an appreciation that you get from it, because it's like, okay, well, I see my life path has also been in alignment with this, even though I wasn't aware of the meaning of it.
Right.
But it was, so circles. Let me just explain this one real quick. Right? Circles, right? Our first circle is spirit and ancestors. And it exists beyond us taking on a body, right? So the first circle is spirit. That's consisting of our ancestors that we know in this carnation, all carnations, right? And it's broad. It's broad. Ancestors way broader than what people think. Right? We are all, anybody that's transitioned is an ancestor.
Right.
Because we all come from the same primordial group. But that's the first circle. The second circle is also referred to as the first circle, which is the family. It takes a man and a woman to make a child, right?
Yeah.
How that is structured in this construct may differ, right? But it took two to make this one, right? So that's your first immediate circle, right? The first circle is really spirit, which we are all part of. And then the second one is when we come into this existence. So that's circle one. Then the next circle, you know, and that circle one consists of your household and what type of environment you're reared in. Then our next circle is like our neighborhood. What happens outside of that household that you have been reared in, right? And that includes neighbors and, you know, childhood friends, acquaintances, the whole thing. Right?
Yeah.
The circles start getting bigger and bigger.
Right.
Damn, why did I even go there?
It's cool though.
But again, along that path, okay, we develop an awareness of self along that path.
Right.
When we know the meaning of our name, even though we may have been yesterday old, when we realize what our name means or the significance behind our name, and we compare where you were consciously, you know, be it I was 7 years old when I realized, or you were 70 years old when you realized, you still compare like, oh, okay. And then, you know, you see your life does align with just the frequency of your name.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And that was given to you.
Yeah.
And then you have a name that is not given to you. That's still an unknown name.
Right.
Until it's revealed to you.
Right.
And there's each individual has multiple energies. I try to keep it simple, but they're names. There's exchanges of energy that apply to you based on your name, based on your date of birth, and this is how you figure out like your life path. What are my urges? What are my desires? What are the things that I'm aligned with, right? Your life path numbers. When we go through those things or that kind of work with people, then it unlocks that awareness of self, right? To help boost you in this three-dimensional matrix that we live in. And and we use the word matrix, it usually brings to mind the movie Matrix, but this is a
construct.
Yes,
of sort.
It's a construct.
It's a construct of sorts.
It's a construct.
A physical construct.
It's a physical
to
construct.
a bunch of invisible principles.
Right.
A myriad of invisible principles.
Right.
That's funny because it's hard to gather in simple words in order for you to come into existence, you're an invisible principle in the first place. But the individual that you are is not individual. It has many intelligences within.
We get into a whole nother topic.
No. But this leads into actual manifestation.
Yeah,
right.
Because of the nature of what you are.
Yeah.
When you're in the goo of what we call spermacell, right? That spermacell seed leaves the male, goes to the woman's ovum, right? Mm-hmm. But inside that seed is intelligence. Yeah. It's not nothing there.
It has a purpose, but that's still not us yet.
Yeah. So now you go through this development, this process.
It's us, but it ain't us.
Not yet. But there is more a bunch of intelligences.
Right.
It's more of a bunch of intelligences than it is you at a certain point.
Yeah.
Because you gotta be developed.
It's not really you until you're born.
So now, that's where I'm getting to.
To be conscious that it's you.
Right.
It's you in utero. Because some choose to just experience being alive in the womb one more time before they choose another existence, right? Like, I'll just keep it short. In that first circle, because I already mentioned that first circle, when you're there with the ancestors, right? When you're part of the pre-being here. Okay, Earth, Wind, and Fire, right? You listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire, they sing that, what is the name of the song? Fantasy, that it's a life in review, right? Yeah. So at the end, if you see your life in review, what do you think happened before you came here?
Right.
It was your life projected, right?
Yeah.
Like we took on an agreement to come here to fulfill whatever purpose, right? I'll give some mental relaxation for those who are anxious, right? Who think like evil people live lives and did a bunch of bad shit and they died and never were convicted, or they can never be punished enough, and they never. So when you see victims, right, realize that person that was so evil in this carnation that you made out of that of them also gets to come back to play the victim. That also kind of eradicates why, or this notion that bad things only happen to bad people. Right? Because that has to be played out. Because again, this is a matrix, right? This is a construct that certain things are kind of bound to always happen. Perfect example. What's going on over in Palestine right now? A war, right? A war.
It's perpetuating war.
And rumors of war, right? These are the beginnings of sorrow, and here, it just perpetuates the same thing like over and over and over and over, right? Like we see that. That's always gonna be. It always has been. Right? And I'm not saying that to justify that. I'm just saying that there's a thing I refer to as be aware of like weapons of mass distraction. The things that are put out there for the masses to be distracted from basically tapping into themselves, at least enough to, and I'm saying tapping into yourself, it's really like just being conscious of, hey, I'm trying to be the best me that I can be.
That's it.
Right? I'm not trying to do 100 push-ups a day. I'm trying to do 1 push-up a day, because if I can do 1, I'll get to the other 99, right? But if I can just focus on doing the 1, I'm gonna accomplish the 1, right? It's that mentality, like just focus on like being the best you, because I don't see where anybody has condemnation for somebody who was doing something right.
Exactly.
Right? They were doing the best them. You know what? He wasn't shit with everything else in his life, but he was good with this.
Right.
Leave something.
Have
for
something.
Somebody say good about you.
Right.
Like,
it's funny you mention that, because I had to come to a conclusion. I was never really a holiday celebrator. I wasn't raised that way. I just wasn't.
Yeah.
My parents celebrated Christmas to some degree, and a few of Halloween because it was fun.
Right.
But they didn't really celebrate all the rest.
Right.
Maybe Thanksgiving, because that's what everybody celebrates, right?
Right.
But so at some point, I started to gain a real negative viewpoint of holidays, and some of them rightfully so, like Thanksgiving, where you're over here slaughtering people to take land, and then you create a holiday.
The history
so what happens is, because of such a thing that's happened, you get an emotional attachment to that, then you begin to hate that, so you manifest actually the opposite of what it is that you're actually disliking it for.
Right.
You're or the same as what you dislike. So you dislike it because of that nature, but then now you've gained a hatred towards that, which also kind of puts you in the same position. So what happens is this, is I says, any day that brings together people and they're positively behaving, I'm not going to condemn the day. I might condemn the original purpose of the day, maybe the original intent, but as we see, time changes things. Like 200 years ago, you say, hey, I'm gay. People would be like, yo, he's happy. Now you say I'm gay. Now you might have people after you because you're homophobic or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you have to really watch what you say. But the point of that is that times change.
Right.
And so what the holiday may have meant before, I have to look at right now. Okay, so what is the principle of this? Does this bring people together and they're doing good?
Right.
And so you see, what is the objective of Thanksgiving? Family comes together, everybody eats.
Right. Well, that's it.
Why would I even be mad at that? I don't necessarily have to subscribe to the whole.
You're not mad at that though, but your thinking is correct though, because you're not mad at that. You're questioning that, but you're saying, okay, all this other good stuff is going on, right? Because even as a young child, I knew, I was like, well, Thanksgiving ain't really. Nah, man, that ain't cool. It's not a cool holiday. But I love football. Football's on, families together, and that other stuff. So I don't think you're wrong in your condemnation at all.
What you're doing is you're focusing on the energy of it. What energy does this bring? And that's important because you have a lot of people, and for those of you who are very religious and you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I'm not telling you to. I don't think none of us up here are prescribing for you to or to not celebrate whatever holiday you're celebrating. The point of the conversation is energy, manifestation. And for me, I had to manifest within myself proper, more harmonious energy on those days because I'm around family. And I can't be around family and some humbug. This is a pagan holiday.
Oh, you the
everybody else is happy.
You the uncle that come in and he's like, oh, here come Uncle Mike.
Here come Uncle.
He gonna give me that conversation. That conversation again.
And then guess what? You become actually a negative energy.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And you're not intending to be.
You're not intending to be.
But now you are.
Yeah,
right? And I'm not saying to prescribe to it, but understand the energy you're in.
Right.
And try to harmonize. Because Okay, they're celebrating this day that's a pagan holiday. But everybody's around here hugging and kissing and laughing and eating and drinking, and no trouble going on.
And people came into town that you ain't seen in years.
Years. Right. So your energy should match that energy if you want to manifest happiness, manifest excitement, or whatever that you may need to manifest in the moment for the good. These types of thoughts, the self-observing thoughts and practices lead you to that $1 million that you're trying to achieve. Lead you to that house or that car you try. Because all of us have done good things. Like, so you man, you know what? I'm not gonna be Scrooge on Christmas. You know what? I'm not gonna go out and buy a gang of presents. But when I'm present, I'm gonna be positively present, right? And then. You know what?
But
instead of walking past the homeless person, I'm gonna drop them a dime or two. I'm gonna drop them $1 or two. All of that, man. We've all had this happen. That good energy. All of a sudden, something happens to you, and you be like, "Dang, where did that come from?"
Well, you know the way to still channel that energy, and that's the important key. Is like, don't be a blemish in somebody else's festivity. You know, nobody likes that. Nobody like it when, Aunt Geraldine show up and she gonna have, 7 Schlitz malt liquor. She crashed into the porch. Cussing.
That's when we try to bring the vibration down.
She is green drum like then Jackie out there fighting with her. Nobody want that kind of stuff happening, right? Like, we all know that. We all know that. And a lot of that can be prevented by, rechanneling that energy. Right?
Self-awareness.
And then when, like you said, if you're that person that's in a household where, like, damn, everybody else is Muslim in the house and I'm the only one that eats pork chops, right? Like, you're just going to have to find another way to eat pork chops.
Right. Go out to
pork chops into the house, but if you go out and, a dynamite, restaurant, and and matter of fact, if you took the family out to eat, they might not even care that you eating a pork chop as long as they got
right there, right,
you know what I'm saying? They're like, well, he in a restaurant, we can't really, the nigga is paying for it. They might see it like that, but they might, so. Again, it's just a way to always,
to do things,
to do something better than what maybe that negative thought that first came to mind.
Right.
I don't approve of this for myself, but then I can't neglect this for everybody. I can't ruin it for my kids, can't ruin it for my spouse, can't ruin it for this person, right? So again, it's that self-discipline. Right.
Yeah.
But again, it comes by knowing yourself, because the person who don't know themselves is the person that reacts to the same given situations the complete fool way.
Right.
They're gonna do it the complete idiot way.
Exactly.
Right? Because it's not in them to do it right. But it starts with, like, again, just those things like knowing your name, knowing your numbers, knowing your likes, your dislikes,
positive energy.
Things. Being able to reflect upon things and go, okay, right? And then expanding that inner verse within, right? Because these answers only come from within your beautiful black dark mind, right? Like, you ain't gonna understand the things that are to manifest in front of you if you don't understand first that point of nothingness. Just start with a blank slate. Like, we hear it all the time.
Right.
But, like, go within, first is black. Then you'll start seeing things. Then, more awareness starts to come to you. And when I say go within, I'm just saying, like, be conscious for a minute. Tune into yourself. Take that break. Let me go breathe for a moment, right? Let me step aside and do a couple push-ups or something,
Right.
Take that break away from everything else, because isn't it comfortable for that brief moment when you were skylarking or daydreaming, right? Like, when you just kind of slip into that rift, you was like, oh shit, what was I doing, right?
Right.
But that brief moment, it was like, oh, that was a sweet spot, right? Well, that's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. Don't become narcoleptic with it, where, you're in the middle of a conversation, you just... Hey, you still here? You're doing a presentation, like, don't be that dude.
Right.
What kind of dope is he on? Right? No, don't be that guy. But I'm saying like those are the cherished moments that are also confirmations.
Right.
Those are confirmations that you are aware that, you know, hey, I am at least conscious that I was unconscious for a moment.
Right.
Right.
Or I was in a nice place, or I was in a sweet spot.
Right.
Right.
And then it's like eventually, become comfortable with
Yeah.
that sweet spot. Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
be real descriptive with that sweet spot. You know, some forms of discipline they teach you, you know, like create a celestial sanctum, you know, like your star base, right? Or a place like when you meditate, I would say like build a house, right?
That's
like,
hard to
what
do.
Would you, yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
you,
hard
like,
to do.
you gotta
Like
start from
in your mind to
every
build a
time
house.
you're supposed to meditate, you better be working on that house.
Right.
I don't care if you still stuck on I'm pouring the foundation.
Right.
Really meticulously build your safe space in your head and building a house or just a room, you know, like if the house is too complicated, okay, you idiot. Let's start with a room, you know,
Right,
magical room that you can slip away to, you know,
Yeah.
and what is in this room, and like in your meditative daydream, wherever, when you're able to slip into that rift of inner mind, meditative, be working on that room. And then when you finish that room, move to another room. Right? Like expand this, because this is the place, in all honesty, when you transition, for some people get caught, they're displaced. If worst case scenario, you would end up in that room. You would end up in the place that you've been working on in your mind, and it's a comfort spot for you.
Right.
And it also becomes a place of refuge in times of distress, right?
Yeah.
And we see this kind of stuff in movies, not realizing that's just art imitating life. This is part of the nuances of your beautiful minds that you can and should be able to, you know what, if I ever got knocked out, I hope I end up in this room, right? Work on that room, you know? My room is just a bucket that splashes me, and, you know, I wake up and I start swinging, right?
Right.
They're like, no, calm down, sir. You know, remember you had a little surgery we had to put you in? Oh, okay.
You know what? For people out there that might be a little lost, to make it real simple, is simple visualization.
That's it.
When you go into meditation, go into visual, and some people may not be at the level of building or constructing a house. Try something as simple as, can you see the color red? Go through the color spectrum.
Yeah.
Can you see the color green while your eyes are closed?
Yeah.
Or while you're sitting there and you slip into that sweet spot, can you see the color red? And then in old school, ancients used to build an actual star tetra, like they would build a tetrahedron.
Yeah.
Or Merkaba, excuse me.
Merkaba.
They would build the whole thing geometrically,
That's
lines, and so what you do is you pick something to visualize, technically, like literally, and try to construct that in your inner thoughts, in your mind.
Yeah.
And the better you get at that, the better you're able to manifest the things outwardly.
Let me ask you a question. So, is that the power of an oasis? Oasis. I'm just saying, an oasis. You know how people have an imaginary place of, you know what I'm saying? Like an oasis. Oasis is surrounded by sand, but it's this.
Yeah. If you see it as water, and it's not there. Well, I wouldn't.
And I just do some shit, you know. I just kind of went there with
the oasis.
If that's your construct,
you know
that movie Contact, when she went to her construct was an oasis. It was palm trees with a beach and an ocean, and the guy comes to her and she goes, I'm not like really here. I'm not really your father. I'm not really what you're thinking. This is just the way that your construct is comfortable.
Yeah.
This is a comfortable thing to get your. This is your safe space. Exactly. So emotionally, I can come to this memory for you, and you won't trip out on me, and we can have a real conversation. Yeah. And so, if your construct is an oasis of
well, you know what? I just went there because that's just it's a metaphor, right?
It's a great metaphor.
You know,
it's funny. Okay, so dealing with that construct. right? That's what happens through like hypnotherapy, right? And through neuro-linguistic programming, you know. We're in a session, visualization and self-visualization, and the person, you know, usually start with that person seeing themselves, right? Like with women, it works really well because they usually looking in the mirror all the time anyway, so they can really like, oh yeah, I know what I look like, right? And then have them describe what they visualize themselves as, right? And unfortunately for most people, they're going to start with negative things, right? They start with criticizing themselves. And eventually you start helping them work through the things that they need to work through, you know, to shave off traumas that they let themselves be stymied by.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
But it starts with like that visualization. You can see yourself as another way of doing it. The Merkaba is another way. There's the tornado, the crystal ball, right? Having a ball of light, your chi, right? Expanding your ki, right? Visualizing a ball of light, but it's being aware of the energies that exist around you is something that, you know, people become more aware of when they're more aware of themselves. Again, you know, like everybody is not empath. Everyone is not given the same gifts or the shining, or everybody wasn't born with a veil on their face. You know, like it's different.
Well, now that analogy comes in handy. There's a body, but not everybody's the finger. You know, not everybody's the heart. Everybody's got their portion in the body, but at the same token, you still operate in accordance to that body.
For sure.
You know, so that the body actually works. And you know, that's what the problem is right now amongst everybody. We don't work that way. We see white people is white people and Asian people is Asian people, but maybe if we take on a perception of all of us are part of a body. I don't necessarily know who's the brain and who's the thalamus, or who's the heart and who's the kidney, but if we look at it as all of us are part of a body.
Some real racist came to mind too. I was like, well, I know who the bottom of the feet is.
But you see, at the end of the day, the bottom of the feet are necessary for you to stay stable. Right. See what I'm saying? So
you got to stand on them.
You got to stand on them. But you wouldn't be able to be stable without that. And everyone has a role to play. And in understanding that, you understand that nature is also within yourself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Everything in the self has a role to play. And if I become more aware of those energies, if I become more aware of that, then I can consciously make things invisible, the invisible nature of my mind, to make manifest something that's unseen in my mind to actually be a real thing, to actually be an occurrence. And this is what we're talking about today. This is we want to gotta start to end it in a minute, because I think we've reached a certain point of where people will start falling asleep at some point.
Yeah, a lot you can chop up too, which is good.
Yeah. But hey, everybody out there, man, we really appreciate you listening. This is Shamar.
I'm T-Bass.
And the real Kid Jones.
Catch you guys later. Our motto is, don't talk about it,
be about
it.